Okay, so the question reads, given a vector A, okay, that is given by 3i, 6j minus 2k, find another vector B, okay, which is parallel to the vector A and has a magnitude of what? 17. Okay, so we want to find a vector that is parallel to this A and has a what? A magnitude of what? 17. So how can we find that vector? Okay, how can we find that vector that is parallel to this and has a magnitude 17 units? Okay, so remember that if two vectors are parallel, so if this is my vector A, okay, if another vector is parallel to this vector A, it means that vector is also going in the same direction. Okay, so let's name that vector B like that. Okay, so we want to find this vector B that is parallel to this A and has a magnitude of what? 17. So what are we going to do, or what are we going to use? We are going to use the fact that we know that a unit vector has a magnitude of 1. Okay, so we are just going to find the unit vector of this A, okay, and then that unit vector we know that it has a magnitude of 1. Okay, so to find that vector B, which has a magnitude of 17 and parallel to vector A, we're just going to multiply that unit vector of A with 17. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So to find um, the unit vector of A, what did we say we use? Okay, so unit vector of A, so it has that symbol on top so that it's a unit vector. It's just the same vector, which is 3i, okay, plus 6j minus 2k, okay, and then we divide this by the magnitude, which are the magnitude of A here. So how do we find the magnitude of A? Okay, so the magnitude of A will be 3 squared plus 6 squared plus negative 2 squared, okay, and then we take the root like that. So this will be the magnitude of what? Of A. So what do we have there? Okay, on the magnitude part. So the magnitude there will be 9 plus 36 plus 4. Okay, so this here will just simply be what? 49. Okay, will just simply be a 49 that we have here, because this is 36 plus 4 is 40, 49. So we have 49 there, and then we take the square root. Okay, so what is the square root of 49? It's just 7, right? Okay, so it means we are dividing this vector A with its magnitude, which is what? 7. Okay, so if I divide this vector by its magnitude, I find a unit vector. Okay, and that unit vector will just be having a magnitude of what? 1. Okay, so always a unit vector has a magnitude of 1. Okay, so now I'm going to create some space here, okay, in order for us to find that vector B, which is parallel, okay, the vector B which is parallel to this A and is a magnitude of what? 17. Okay, so we are just going to say our vector B is equals to 17, okay, multiplied by the unit vector of A. So the unit vector of A, okay, you can write it as 3i over 7 plus 6j over 7. So you can distribute that 7 that is in the denominator minus 2k over 7. Okay, so this vector here that I've written down here, okay, if you find its magnitude, okay, the magnitude will just be what? 17. Okay, the magnitude will just be 17 there. Okay, so this here is the vector B that is in the same direction as A and there's a magnitude of what? 17. So if you want, you can distribute this 17. If you want, you can just leave it the way it is here. Okay, so any questions there? Yes, what's your question? I can't get your question. What are you saying? Okay, so here we want to find the vector b. Okay, so this vector b that we are looking for, one, it should be parallel to this vector a here. Okay, and then two, it should have a magnitude of what? 17 units. Okay, so how are we going to find that vector b? So we said the first thing is to find the unit vector of this a. We know that the unit vector of this vector a is always in the same direction as the vector a. Okay, so how do you find the unit vector of a? You divide the vector by its magnitude. Okay, so we found the magnitude of this vector a, which was 3 squared plus 6 squared plus minus 2 squared, and then we take the root. We found it was 7. Okay, so here what I've written down here now is our unit vector. Okay, and then from that unit vector now, we know that this unit vector is parallel to the vector a, right? So we can use this unit vector to find the vector b, which is parallel to this a and has a magnitude of 17. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are just going to multiply this unit vector here by this 17 here. Okay, so if we multiply it by 17, it means the magnitude now of this vector here has become 17, and we can call that vector as what? B. Is it making sense now? All right, so that's it for this question.